to Coffee and Conversations Between the Lines Blog Club series. This is episode number 2 in that series, and Shayne will share their experience with eating disorders. Between the Lines episodes are written by guests who prefer to use their written voice instead of their interview voice to share their stories. Each author has submitted a blog, and then either I, Ange, or an actor or actress will read and record them. As a reminder, the views expressed in any blog are the views of the author, and the purpose is to provide a safe place for the author's voice to be heard. Make sure you stay tuned for the outro of this episode as I share a sneak peek into Recovery Advocate Network's fundraising auction being held at the end of this week, October 26th through the 28th of 2023. So, what are we waiting for? Fill up your coffee, sit back, and let's get started. Hi, it's Shayne, he, they, again. In my last piece, I wrote about gender identity issues. Now, I want to share about my eating disorder experience and the stigmas that some of us have faced when seeking help for this pernicious affliction. I started to struggle with this disordered eating in junior high. I had experienced trauma and abuse during the years prior, and all my anxiety, depression, and PTSD symptoms had come to the forefront during my 8th grade year. I started skipping meals, comparing what I was eating to others, and comparing my body to the shape of other bodies. Throughout high school, I dipped in and out of disordered eating behaviors. I had 2 friends who had a great influence on me. They, too, had poor mental health, and they subtly encouraged me to engage in destructive behaviors. Eating in front of others became very triggering. I would purge after meals with my family. My freshman year of college was the beginning of my full-fledged eating disorder. I moved away to college, lived in the dorms, and started slipping into the dark place. I was on my own, so no other eyes were watching or monitoring if or what I was eating. My college meal plan allowed me to engage in binge and purge behaviors. I would go to multiple of the on-campus food areas, get multiple meals, and bring them back to my dorm. Then I would eat every last bite before throwing it all up. If you have had to struggle with a disordered eating or an eating disorder, you know that it becomes all-encompassing. Once it starts, it feels like a slippery slope or a black hole that sucks you in. After college, I was hospitalized upwards of 10 times for other mental health problems and received many diagnoses, and I tried many medications. Some of these medications caused me to gain a lot of weight. Because of this, none of the quote-unquote professionals seemed to notice or care about my struggle with weight, shape, and food. Then, a few years ago, I underwent residential treatment for my eating disorder, and that's where I met Ange. Now, to talk about some of those treatment struggles. One stigma, the idea that you are not sick enough. The reality of weight stigma. Often, I've told myself that I am not small enough, thin enough, or sick enough to warrant or deserve help. I don't look like the eating disorder patient you might see on social media or in a movie. One article I read estimates that less than 6% of people with eating disorders are medically diagnosed as underweight. When I sought help, I explained that I was struggling, and yet many doctors have discounted my health and weight struggles because I'm not in the underweight category on the BMI scale. It's invalidating, unprofessional, uneducated, and harmful for professionals to treat someone as if their disordered eating is less worthy of help because they aren't dying yet. The second struggle is the idea that if you can't strictly follow the guidelines for recovery that we, the treatment center, have set up, then you must not want to be free of this, and you're wasting our time. The reality of the stigma when you don't recover fast enough. Everyone recovers at different speeds. Everyone has different symptoms and behaviors. Everyone has different health complications. Everyone has had different experiences in life. Everyone comes with their own identity, and everyone has their own reasons for struggling. It's not acceptable for professionals to label an individual as non-compliant or a failure just because they aren't magically cured by a lesson on nutrition. There are struggles and stigmas around eating disorder treatment, but whatever modes of treatment you or I have pursued or been forced into, I have learned that it is always our responsibility to own our own recovery. The individual's efforts and perspective on recovery matter a great deal. So, what struggles may a human who struggles with an eating disorder face when they choose to pursue recovery? Let's talk about them. Number 1, facing our demons. As I've attempted to participate in my recovery from my eating disorder, I've realized that the issue isn't just the eating disorder. To deal with the physicality of my disorder, I must first take a hard look at my demons. I've had to face my trauma. I've had to unravel my thought processes. I've had to wade through the deepest, darkest, most hurtful memories, thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. No matter how many times I've been told to just eat and everything will be solved, the truth is, recovery isn't as simple as just picking up a fork. It's exhausting work, but it will work. Number 2, eating is a requirement for life. In recovery, it's impossible to just avoid the triggers because sometimes the trigger is the food. It's impossible to recover by just avoiding eating, being around food, or being around others who are talking about or eating food. Alcoholics might be able to remove the alcohol from their homes, but someone with an eating disorder has to get up and face their worst nemesis every day, 3 to 6 times a day. But I am told that food can become okay, even more than okay. Food can become delicious. Eating can become fun, a social activity, and cooking can become less stressful. Our triggers can't always be avoided, but our perspective can change. Okay, let's talk about relapse. Have you ever heard someone say that relapse is a part of recovery? Well, I have found this to be true. We can't look forward to or consciously fall into relapse on purpose. However, relapse does happen. I know this from my own experience. It's hard when it happens. It feels for me like I've failed. I've let other people down. I should just give up trying. But these things aren't true, no matter how real or intense I feel them. When relapse happens, it isn't like we start off at the very bottom, back where we once were. We have learned things. We have new skills, new support, and new muscle memory. It's hard, difficult, painful, disappointing, depressing, frustrating. It's all the feelings. And that's valid. We can get back up and try again. Thanks for listening to a little of my story, walking with me through a few of the stigmas surrounding those who seek treatment, and understanding the hardships in recovery. I want you to leave this podcast and remember a few things. Your experience is valid. However you struggle, however long you've been struggling, try not to compare your story to someone else's. Your feelings are real. If you feel angry about your struggle, if you feel hopeless, if you feel rejected, if you feel unlovable, if you feel happy, if you feel comfortable, however you feel is real to you. But feeling that way doesn't mean you can or should keep suffering or engaging with your eating disorder. Preaching to the choir here, friends. You deserve help and support. If your loved ones don't help, keep trying. If the first or second or 10th professional you see isn't helpful or respectful, keep trying. If you feel alone, no, you aren't. We who struggle are with you. I hope that this writing has reminded you that you are not alone. I hope every piece I write, I hope every struggle of mine I share, I hope every secret, shameful, uncomfortable, taboo subject I write about encourages you that you are not alone in this world. Thank you. Thanks for listening to Shayne. They want to remind you that the things they have shared about are based on their experience with this illness. They want this piece to not only encourage, but to also educate and inspire. Thanks again, Shayne, for sharing this episode of Between the Lines. You just listened to episode number 21 our second Between the Lines episode, Eating Disorders by Shayne. We hope you've been encouraged or learned something new from today's story. Look for another reflection by Shayne about the impossible task coming soon. These episodes are written by guests who prefer to use their written voice instead of their interview voice to share their stories. Each author has submitted a blog, and then either I or an actor or actress will read and record it for them. As a reminder, the views expressed in any blog are the author's views, and the purpose is to provide a safe place for the author's voice to be heard. Now, as promised, a sneak peek into some auction items available for bid from October 26th through the 28th, 2023. For more details about the auction, please visit our website at www.recoveryadvocatenetwork.org and click on the Events tab, or email us at donate@recoveryadvocatenetwork.org. Our fundraising auctions are critical to the success of our mission to help fund those in need of treatment, and so we ask for your generosity. An amazing bonus is there are some awesome items available. Perfect holiday, birthday, graduation, or just because gifts for yourself, loved ones, neighbors, co-workers. You get the message. Frankly, just about anyone you want to send a smile to while supporting RAND's mission at the same time. Okay, are you ready? Enough of the talk, let's get into it. Here are a few of the items available. 2 tickets to any 2024 U.S. concert. That is amazing. Justin Moore autographed cowboy hat. 2 VIP tickets to any Justin Moore show on his 2024 concert tour. Keith Richards autographed LP. Tickets to Albuquerque Comic Con. Jet Black autographed Tropic Thunder poster. Game of Thrones autograph photos of Jon Snow and Bronn. Autograph photo of Olivia Newton-John. 2 tickets to a live taping of The Colbert Show. 2 tickets to see the hilarious Jared Freid on his 2024 comedy tour. A weekend away at the historic Clifton Inn in Charlottesville. Autographed Tony Hawk photo. Personalized Sarah Silverman voicemail. A Scarlett Johansson autograph photo. An Ed Sheridan autograph photo and t-shirt. And then into the autographed guitars by one by Maroon 5. I've seen a photo. This one's gorgeous. A very special one by the band Bon Jovi. This one's extra special because it will be personalized to the recipient. And a guitar autographed by Morgan Whalen. Now for the basketball fans, an autographed basketball by Jerry West and autographed basketball shoes by Vince Carter. Baseball fans, autographs by Madison Bumgarner, Dave Roberts, and Brandon Crawford. And then for those football fans, we have autographed footballs by Brett Favre, John Elway, Eli Manning, Juju Smith-Schuster, Derek Carr, as well as a helmet by Green Bay's Clay Matthews. Let's not forget some items that are near and dear to this podcast heart, and they are those autographed copies of the books from the Coffee and Conversation Book Club series. And there are many more items in the auction. So, how can you make sure to not miss out? Well, go to our website and grab a free event ticket so that you will be promptly notified with your bidding link when bidding opens. Also, make sure to like and follow our Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter pages. Finally, feel free to email us at either podcast@recoveryadvocatenetwork.org or donate@recoveryadvocatenetwork.org. Whew! This has been a lot of work for our team, and we truly hope you will enjoy it and help spread the mission. If you want to share your experiences or expertise, we encourage you to be a future guest by emailing us at podcast@recoveryadvocatenetwork.org or submit a blog post by emailing blog@recoveryadvocatenetwork.org. We also encourage you to comment on the episodes so that we can continue to provide content that is most beneficial to the community. And if you do, we will give you a shout out. We are proud that every individual working with RAND does so on a 100% volunteer basis. You can support the mission by clicking the love, not like, icon on our podcast and subscribe. The reception of this podcast blows us away, and hence we are seeking volunteers to assist. If you're interested, please email us at podcast@recoveryadvocatenetwork.org. We hope you will connect with us at our website, where you can donate to the mission, read those blog posts, and stay in the loop about the events. Again, that website address is www.recoveryadvocatenetwork.org. Please also follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Recovery Advocate Network and on Twitter at Rand Wellness. So, listeners, pause what you're doing and subscribe. Follow us. Please give us a 5-star rating and provide some feedback. And then finally, share this episode with your friends. You never know whose hearts you will touch. We already have listeners in close to 20 countries around the world, and you can be a part of the reason someone has new hope today. If this episode was triggering to you, we encourage you to contact your support system, therapist, national and community support groups, the Global Crisis Text Line by texting 741-741, and/or, if in the United States, dialing 988 to reach the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you're in the U.S. and need additional resources such as shelter, support group resources, transportation, food, and/or a safe, confidential path out of physical and/or emotional domestic abuse, call 211 or visit www.211info.org for assistance. As the host, I want to send a sincere voice of gratitude to all of our listeners and everyone who has shared this message, and every single guest who has shared their experience, their strength, their recovery, their wisdom, their vulnerability to make this podcast a success. It warms my heart every single day. Thank you so very much. I am so very grateful. And now, thanks for spending your time with us today. We know you're busy, so back to your coffee.